We're taking a peek into geek culture and sharing our top 10 fandom favorites. Let Your Geek Side Show presents Geek Culture Countdown. Hey guys, this is Kitty.
And this is Susan.
And welcome back to the Geek Culture Countdown. So we've kind of we've been not off track, but we haven't done like a countdown in a little while.
Like a true countdown to 1, like 10 and then 1.
Right.
That's like how a countdown works. I'm super smart in 2019.
So we've had our holiday break, and now we're back in 2019. Woohoo!
Woo!
So today, we're on the hunt for the top 10 Marvel Mercenaries. These hitmen for hire are some of the deadliest Marvel Comics has to offer. It's money over morals when you dispatch these skilled career killers. Why did I write that for myself?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't understand why you write a lot of the things you write.
It looks really good on the page.
Because it looks good, and then when you have to say it out loud, it's like, why did she write that?
So, see if I can say that again. It's money over morals when you dispatch these skilled career killers, but only one on our list can be the number one with a bullet. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Okay, so I want to preface this with, I think it's interesting how many different definitions there are for what a mercenary is, especially when it comes to fictional ones.
Yes. So we went back and forth because there were some characters whose primary occupation was more of an assassin than a mercenary, even though it might be a squares and rectangles rule of
Yeah, and seriously, this could be just like a Venn diagram of situations. And then obviously, once we get into this, you'll see that not all of these people kill for money. A lot of them do just criminal activity for money.
Or they kill for fun.
Because they can.
Yeah, but we tried to keep it to people who notably, this is a way that they sustain their career.
Or their existence in a lot of cases. Because let's just get started with number 10, who is Gambit, who technically is mostly defined as a thief in the Marvel Universe. However, he did keep himself alive during the days where he was very poor, doing a lot of other odd jobs that were not on the up and up, so to speak. So Gambit was created by writer Chris Claremont and artist Jim Lee, and he was a professional thief turned merc, and he used his weapons and his mutant powers to finish the job, which to us qualified as he's a mercenary, mostly a thief, but he did use extreme force and abilities that he had over other people in order to get the job done, regardless of what that job may or may not have been.
As you were saying that he uses his mutant powers, I took a quick look back at our list. Half of this list is mutants who more or less use their powers for mercenary
work. If you think about it, that makes complete sense because a lot of these mutants come from a time when it wasn't okay, and they had to kind of be underground. So of course they had to take kind of black market work. So number 10 on our list is Gambit.
All right, number 9 on our list is Outlaw, created by Gail Simone. She's known to many by her most hated nickname, Crazy Inez. Inez Temple has the mutant powers of minimal superhuman strength. She can't go toe-to-toe with the Hulk, but she's pretty strong. And she has a healing factor, and then she also calls herself Outlaw because she is a descendant of Lance Temple, also known as the Outlaw Kid. She's a mercenary affiliated most prominently with Agency X, but right now she's teamed up with Domino on the Posse. They just kind of call themselves the Posse in recent comics, and she will be a part of Domino's Hot Shots. So she's often seen with her gal pals who take hit jobs for money. And I think Outlaw is super fun.
I think Outlaw's a lot of fun too.
And she was like a secret Easter egg in Deadpool 2.
Yep.
So there's a cardboard cutout of a woman in a cowboy hat and very, very skimpy clothing, and that's her signature. I mean, that's her signature outfit. I was
going to say, wow, you just described every comic character.
A lot of, yes. Well, she's got the cowboy hat.
She does, that's true. A lot of them do not have cowboy hats.
So that's what sets Inez Temple apart. So number 9 on our list is Outlaw.
Number 8 on our list is definitely a mercenary in the truest form. In fact, when you Google Marvel Comics Mercenaries, he's pretty much the first one that comes up besides all the others on the list. But so number 8 on the list is we're existing in several timelines right now, is Crossbones. Crossbones was created by Mark Grunwald and Kieran Dwyer and first appeared in Captain America number 359. He grew up in the criminal underworld himself, idolizing Red Skull. He even went to Taskmaster's school for criminals. I love that there was like a school for criminals. Like, want to be a criminal? Come to my school. Anyway, so and he was actually healed using kind of a cloning process from Captain America's the serum.
The super soldier serum?
Super soldier serum that I can't say.
Man, a lot of characters got a lot of mileage out of that super soldier serum.
I know. He's skilled at combat. He has a high metabolism, and he's fast for a man of his size, and he is like a bigger dude. So he can go toe-to-toe with Cap because it wasn't the exact serum. It was like a cloned serum, so he didn't get all of the super soldier stuff. He just got some of it.
He got enough of it.
He got enough of it to make him a mercenary and kind of like, dangerous. So that's how Crossbones wound up on our list. He is very skilled in advanced weaponry as well as hand-to-hand combat. So, Number 8, Crossbones.
All right. Number 7 on our list. Now, if you found yourself, in a Marvel comic, what would be the first job that you would want to take? I don't think mercenary work would be top of my list if I ended up in the Marvel Comics universe.
I definitely would get some of that super soldier serum.
Right, and then go to work.
Maybe not as a merc, but I definitely want some of that serum because I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have it.
So, number 7 on our list is one of the more oddball choices, and she's a more recent character. This is Gwenpool. So she began as a variant cover joke during the Gwen Stacy month of variants, which happened, I want to say, 2015.
Yeah, it was really recent.
Because she was on Deadpool's Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And they scribbled out Dead and wrote Gwen Pool. And for some reason, someone at Marvel Comics was like, hey, we should have her be a recurring character because she combines Gwen Stacy with Deadpool.
Obviously.
But technically, when they brought her into the comics, her first full appearance is in a Howard the Duck comic. She isn't Gwen Stacy. She's a girl from the real world where you and I live, and her name is Gwendolyn Poole. And she somehow falls into the Marvel Universe. And she uses her knowledge of comics and how comic physics work and how actual comic books work. Like, she actually is like, hey, I'm inside of a panel. Let me step out of this panel for a sec. She manipulates her comic awareness to become a mercenary, and she gets hired by the mercenary organization dedicated only to killing, also known as MODOK, which is helmed by MODOK. Yeah. So Gwenpool, for being just a really fun and different type of character who gets to break the fourth wall, but in a different way that we've seen, but obviously inspired by Deadpool herself. She's just a fun choice to have on the list. So number 7 on our list of mercenaries is Gwenpool.
All right. Number 6. So before we move on to number 6, I just have to say the West Coast Avengers with Gwenpool on it is some of the best banter I've seen in comics. Like,
Kelly Thompson is killing it.
I was gonna say, don't at me, fight me, I dare you. like it's some of the, because you have both Hawkeyes, and Gwenpool, and like
Quentin Quire, who's a favorite of mine.
Yeah, and you have all these like, they put all the smartasses on the same team.
Yes.
And it's just fun. It's so like
and Kate Bishop is supposed to be the leader, and like Clint's like the babysitter kind of.
Yeah. And then
and no one can ever actually figure out if Gwenpool has powers because she knows that she's been rebooted. Yeah. Because she knows that they've done an event where they rebooted her, and so she's not sure if she still has powers, but she keeps
having powers.
Yeah, she keeps kind of using her. Oh my god, it's what any really Marvel fan would do, being like, I'm in a comic book, I know how this works.
Yeah. It's really, really awesome. So I would recommend picking up
West Coast
Avengers. It's really awesome. Anyway, so number 6 on the list is Silver Sable. Silver Sable first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 265, and she is kind of like I love Silver Sable because she's a mercenary that Spider-Man always kind of gets in her way by accident. Like Spider-Man's trying to do sort of the same job as her, but like an adjacent job, and then Spider-Man messes up her job, and she's like, ugh, that kid, you know? So anyway, Silver Sable is a highly trained martial artist. She is a lead in a group of reformed criminals that is leading an honest life's work as the Wild Pack. So they do like honest mercenary work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different than some of the other mercenaries we've seen, right? She is also the CEO of Silver Sable International. Man, I can't do these S's today. That's just not happening. Which is, oh my God, Silver Sable International, based in Simkaria. Frick. Anyway, so she uses a katana and projectile weapons. She also can disarm and disable her foes with hand-to-hand combat.
Disable her foes?
Oh my God, go away. Yeah, so she's just pretty awesome. I love her personally now in the Spider-Man video game.
I was going to say, she's super mean in the Spider-Man video game.
But I loved when she showed up in the Spider-Man video game, because what my first thought was like, oh, this is exactly like a comic, because this is kind of how she always shows up in a comic, where Spider-Man's like, why is this copter trying to shoot at me? I don't get it. Yeah. And then like she's in the copter because he's messing up her job.
Yeah, and it is a universe where Spider-Man has been Spider-Man for 8 years, because I also, like, if it was a younger version of Spider-Man, it'd be probably more appropriate to have that quirky kind of, but this is like a working professional woman and an adult Spider-Man, and she's like, get out of my way.
Yeah, she's get out of my way. And so that's kind of how she feels about a lot of things. She's just a pro. Like, we need to take her seriously.
You need to let the pros do their work.
Yeah. So that's why number 6 is Silver Sable.
All right. So speaking of like honest mercenary work.
I'm so happy about this, because this was like when we put together these podcasts, you all should know that Kitty and I go through a lot of stuff.
I really want to do a recording where we actually put all our suggestions on the table and deliberate why.
Right. It would be really great to do kind of a behind the podcast type situation.
And this one would have been good because we spent the whole debate on the assassins and who takes money
and is a thief. Like, does he qualify as a thief? Does he qualify like
as a vigilante?
As a vigilante, like he doesn't actually take money. So one of my major things on this particular list was you can't discount mercenaries who are good.
Yes. Ethical mercenaries.
Ethical mercenaries like the Heroes for Hire.
So our honorable mention for this podcast is the Heroes for Hire. The Heroes for Hire concept began with my man Luke Cage.
I was going to say, I just really wanted her to admit that Luke Cage is a mercenary and belongs on this list.
You know, I mean, he does work for hire, because superheroics are usually pro bono, but he's got to make a living somehow.
I'm just saying. Your man belongs on this list.
He does. Along with
Gambit.
I was going to say, along with all of his buddies who joined the organization. But because his comic was originally titled Luke Cage Hero for Hire. So he was kind of the OG. But when he joined forces with Iron Fist, the two of them kind of co-founded an actual business, Heroes for Hire. On my notes, I wrote Danny Randy instead of Danny Rand, which is
Freudian?
super funny.
Freudian slip?
But when they started the organization, they only had 2 paid employees besides themselves. They had Jenny Royce, the secretary, and Jaron Hogarth, their lawyer, because you got to keep things legal.
Right.
It was noted that they would never take extra legal assignments. They always kept it by the book. But other notable Heroes for Hire members that have rotated in and out include Misty Knight and Colleen Wing, the Daughters of the Dragon, Wolverine, Elektra, and Moon Knight. So pretty much anyone who's fallen under the banner of a hero for hire at some point or another has been a mercenary.
You know, it was also a really interesting thing for us to talk about that we really should have recorded was like, is it a once a mercenary, always a mercenary situation?
Right.
Because like, you know, you just mentioned people like Wolverine specifically. Like he really hasn't taken that many mercenary jobs, but like he's sometimes when you look up, like when you Google him, you will find that he is classified as a mercenary.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's very fair. So that's maybe something for people to talk about at geeksideshow.com.
Yeah. So we want to hear your thoughts on that. But our honorable heroes for hire are the honorable mention because they're good mercenaries.
Yes.
And yes, Luke Cage is on this list.
I win.
So number 5 on our list is The Punisher. Frank Castle. Francis Castiglione.
I was going to say, you said that like in like the most non-Punisher way. You're like, it's the Punisher.
It's the Punisher. So this is Frank Castle, also known as the Punisher. He's mainly a vigilante figure in the Marvel Universe, known for his tactical abilities and his use of extortion, coercion, murder, and torture. Just to name a few. I mean, that wasn't the
just murder and torture.
That wasn't the exclusive list of everything he stoops to fight against crime. And while he does often prefer to work alone, he has briefly been hired as a mercenary member of the Heroes for Hire. He's been on the Thunderbolts strike team, and he was a member of Code Red, which was a team assembled to kill Domino because she knew the Red Hulk's true identity.
Yep.
So he has been a gun for hire occasionally, even though you will most likely find him by himself.
To be fair, when there was the Punisher copycat, when there was the fake Punisher out there killing people and Frank was getting blamed and like punished for their crimes, Domino was the only one who believed him, because she was the one who saw that whoever was doing these crimes did not exactly have the same method as Frank. So joke's on you, Mr. Castle. You tried to kill her and she did you a favor. This is what happens.
So the Punisher is number 5 on our list.
Number 4 on this list is Phantom X. Phantom X first appeared in New X-Men 128 in 2002. So he's a more recent character, not as recent as some of the others, but definitely a newer one. Phantom X was a creation of the Weapon Plus program, and he was born and artificially evolved in the world, which was the world meant for creating super soldiers. So once again, we come back to the super soldier, but that's what the weapon program was for,
right?
So he was they used Sentinel technology, and he was designed as Weapon 13 and has gone by aliases such as Jean-Philippe or Jean-Philippe Charles, and then was part of the Charlie Cluster 7 in the world. So it's a whole lot of weird stuff.
Weird world.
I love when you explain Marvel Comics to someone, because I always try to like say, can you explain a character to me in like a sentence? Because it's really difficult to. Anyway, so Phantom X from the Weapon Plus program, and again has heightened abilities, heightened fighting. Yep, that's a thing. We keep it professional here.
We're getting our podcasting legs back after that long holiday break.
I know, absolutely. And he again takes a lot of jobs that require hunting down other mutants and fighting other kinds of groups of mutants, and that's why he is number 4 on our list.
Alrighty. Number 3 on our list is the bane of my existence in the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Oh my God.
Just thought I'd throw that in there. This is Taskmaster.
He's so good.
Taskmaster, in recent Marvel Comics, he's mostly known as an instructor of mercenaries. We did mention Crossbones went to his school for criminals.
Yeah,
and
it was like Taskmaster School for Criminals. I'm like, really, dude? You couldn't come up with any other name?
Pretty much. But his own past as a mercenary shouldn't be discounted. I mean, he does still do mercenary work, but he is mostly seen as the instructor now. He has the ability to perfectly mimic the physical movements of anyone he witnesses due to photographic reflexes, and he's used this power to kind of mimic the like, oh my God, can you just imagine like training for so long to do these incredible things, and then Taskmaster is like, I can do that. Just like he just I mean, he'd
be like the ultimate stunt double for every person in the MCU.
That is true. That is true. So he has, of course, over the course of his mercenary career, mimicked the abilities and techniques of really, really highly trained people like Iron Fist, Silver Samurai. He can mimic Hawkeye with the bow and arrow, Punisher with firearms, and then he can even do what Daredevil can do.
Wow.
Which, I mean, that just sounded really dumb.
I mean, he can do what Daredevil can do.
I mean, so he can mimic not only like tactical and weapon expertise, but also like rigorous physical training. I know he can also mimic the abilities of the Black Panther, which is like either those people like Iron Fist and Silver Samurai, they trained so hard to get those skills, or just like, I mean, Black Panther also trains, but he's got some of that innate, like with the heart-shaped herb and stuff. But it just blows my mind that like Taskmaster is like, yeah, I saw it once, I could do that. Like, and he can.
I love that. That's like the exact superpower I would want. I wouldn't get it because I would not treat it well, but like I would totally want that. Like, oh, like anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, pretty much. He's the definition of that. The only two things that are kind of hang-ups about his impressive powers are the more that he absorbs from other people, the more he loses of his own kind of identity. Aww. And so he like actually forgets things about himself and has to be reminded.
That's sad.
And the only person he can't mimic successfully is Deadpool, because Deadpool is manic and impossible to predict, and just he can't absorb those powers or memories, which is it makes sense.
Wow. Just wow.
I mean, I don't think you'd exactly want to mimic Deadpool.
I don't think so either. Though I am curious, now that we're done with Taskmaster and we're moving on to number 2, how on earth he would ever mimic the powers that this person has.
True. I mean, he can't see them, so...
Right, exactly. So number 2 on this list is Domino, Nina Thurman.
Woo!
Woo, we love her. Oh, that was like the most like non-woo woo, and I'm pretty sure my voice cracked. So awesome.
Woo, Domino.
That was like the Punisher, and then Domino. No, I love Domino. She's one of my top characters of all time. But how would Taskmaster mimic luck? Like,
I mean, he could mimic the physical techniques of the things she does, but he can't mimic the probability. Right. So like he'd end up getting shot.
And he couldn't mimic the probability or the same exact events that lead up to whatever it is, because he can't mimic the situation. He could only mimic her. And if he's not in an identical situation, it would never work.
Right. But you know who did mimic Domino? Copycat.
I know. It's like, oh, you got to bring that up because the first appearance of Domino isn't actually a first appearance of Domino. It's Copycat. She did not. I mean, the first time you see her drawn in a comic is actually in New Mutants 98, the same first appearance as Deadpool, but you find out later that it's actually not her. It's Copycat. We'll get into that more later at another time. However, she is a mutant, best known as a member of the team X-Force, though she has been on other teams, including the Six Pack and the Wild Pack, both led by Mutant Cable, with whom she has kind of an on-again, off-again thing with. Yeah?
A thing?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so I always try to say what her powers are, and I think I finally because they always try to, you like the the psionic, like they use a psi word,
like psionic probability manipulation.
But now it's subconscious telekinetic probability manipulation, which is much easier to say. So thank you, Gail Simone, for that adjustment to the terminology of her power.
Most people just say it's luck.
Yeah, it's luck. I'm lucky. I loved that. Zazie Beetz is great. I'm lucky. That's not a superpower. It is.
It is.
She also has enhanced reflexes and agility, a master marksmanship, and is an expert martial artist. She was part of, oh my gosh, now I'm not remembering very well. She was part of that program.
Armageddon?
Project Armageddon. And she was the only survivor of that project, but the project was considered a failure because her luck power wasn't considered a real power. Joke's on them, because she's been around for like 30 years now and is a fan favorite and is in Deadpool too. So that's why number 2 on the list is Domino.
All right, so we're at number 1 on our list, and I'm sure you guys noticed there's one particular mercenary we haven't talked. Oh, we've talked a little bit about.
Wouldn't it be funny if we left him off?
Oh my God,
that would be so like that would happen in his comic.
He'd be like, I got left off the list.
Yeah,
this is the mercenary to end all mercenaries. Hopefully, maybe not.
I think it would be.
He is the merc with a mouth. He is the regenerating degenerate. It's Deadpool. Of course, Deadpool had to be at the top of our list. Again. I mean, no one else on this list, their nickname is the Merc something.
Yeah.
He is the Merc with a mouth. And he sits happily at the top of our list here. He has been associated with countless mercenary ventures, including Agency X, like Outlaw. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. I was going to call her Crazy Inez.
How dare you?
I know. The Deadpool Corps, which is kind of his own self-affiliated team of other Deadpools. He's been a hero for hire. He's been a merc for money. That was another one of his team ventures. And of course, X-Force. He's unpredictable and unconventional.
That's fine. I can't say S words.
Thank you.
That's fine.
Deadpool is unpredictable and unconventional, and his comic awareness, fourth wall breaking, and regenerative healing factor make him pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, what more is there to say? I mean, and you can tell just based on how much he actually has. I bet if you listened back, he's been mentioned quite a few times.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he got mentioned with Gwenpool. He got mentioned with he is a hero for hire. He got mentioned with Taskmaster.
He could have also technically been mentioned with a few others, like Crossbones. I left him purposefully out because I didn't want to give away our number 1. But then, who else?
But I spoiled it a little bit.
But no, who else was going to be number 1? Like I said, the only time he would not be number 1 is in his own comic, and then he would comment.
He would fix that.
He would comment on the fact that he was not on the list, and therefore we would fix it.
Yes. So, I mean, Well, I don't have anything more to say about Deadpool. It's Deadpool. He's the number one
he's
merc.
kind of like self-explanatory.
Yes.
Like once you say Deadpool, it's like, oh.
Yes. The OG. No imitations. No Gwenpools. Except I love you, Gwenpool. Sorry.
I do like Gwenpool a lot. Sorry, Deadpool. Have they met yet? Because I haven't read a book where they met.
I don't know.
Because I want to read that book. Just call it Pools.
I think they did in her holiday special.
Oh, maybe. But that's not canon. I mean, yeah, it is. But like, you know what I mean? Like holiday specials are different. We established that on a different podcast.
That is
holiday
true.
specials
Holiday specials are very different.
Are very different. So I want them to have maybe a mini just called Pools. And have Jerry Duggan write it.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Jerry, if you're listening, make it happen.
Alrighty, so I think that about does it for our list of mercenaries. So we're going to quickly recap. Our honorable mention are the heroes for hire, every single one of them, but especially Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
But who else? But who?
Number 10 on our list is Gambit. Number 9 is Outlaw. Number 8 is Crossbones. Number 7 is Gwenpool. Number 6 is Silver Sable. Number 5 is The Punisher. Number 4 is Phantom X. Number 3 is Taskmaster. Number 2 is Domino. And number 1 is Deadpool. So, did our mercenary list hit the mark, or were we off target with these deadly shooters? If we missed someone that you think should be on the list, be sure to check out our blog and send us your opinions at podcasts@geeksideshow.com. And that was our top 10 Marvel mercenaries. Do you enjoy the Geek Culture Countdown? We are proud to bring you pop culture content completely ad-free, but that doesn't mean we don't need your support to help keep us going. Please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform and help spread the word about our podcast. We welcome fan feedback. Email us at podcasts@sideshow.com with your thoughts and suggestions for how we can make our shows even better. Plus, tune in for our other pop culture podcasts. See your favorite comic and film characters evolve across 2 generations in the bi-weekly Then and Now podcast. Hear exclusive interviews with celebrities and pop culture industry leaders as they let their Geek Side show in Look Who Showed Up. Then get all the latest pop culture news with our daily briefing, a 2-minute breakdown of all the biggest geek headlines perfect for your Alexa or Google News briefings. We wouldn't exist without your continued support. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to let your Geek Side show.